the last in our three-part series for the Community Action Plan for Kyle and Lochalsh. Many survey respondents said that the lack of affordable housing is having an impact on communities and on the ability to keep young people and families in the area, as well as the need for sheltered housing for older residents.
Housing is extremely difficult to find. In fact, there's practically no rental properties, and the cost of properties were you to go and buy one are absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, the village I live in, Dorney, from the shop down to the bottom of the village where we live, I think there's 70 properties, and I think just over a third of those are holiday lets.
My wife is a full-time community nurse, obviously with the NHS, great job, great salary and everything, but we would struggle to get a mortgage to buy a home, and any sort of low-cost homes and low cost to the, you know, the average sort of like tradesperson and, you know, and nurse.
More council houses or more community owned houses would be a really good thing. And sort of the same with land as well, you know, more land owned by the community or land made available for people to buy or to rent would be great.
A lot of the shared equities has been great because it's allowing the younger generation to buy an affordable house. They have the mortgage, so they're building up the savings for maybe their next house. It's maybe not their forever home, but it's a start on the ladder for them. So I would like to see more of that and concentrating on, I suppose, looking after our own a little bit.
Next up's road infrastructure and safety. We talked about the need for roads to be maintained, speed limits to be reduced, especially on the A87. More parking to be available and better laybys.
We've been campaigning to get the speed limit reduced to 40, and we had no idea it would be so difficult, and 10 years on they're still thundering past. In fact, HGVs are the biggest offenders.
When my daughter started high school, before she went, I wanted there to be a proper bus stop here so that they could wait on, because they were told they had to wait on the grass verge just down there. And the council did put a bus stop in. But they didn't liaise with any of the relevant agencies, and they erected it in the wrong position, and so it's not suitable for the bus transport. So the children still had to wait on the grass verge down there. And if you're a teenager stood on the side of the road, there's not even a pavement that side, and they're stood there, and these HGVs are no more than a foot away from them, and they're hurtling past nearly 60 miles an hour. And you know what teenagers are like? It only takes one of them to have an argument, or you know, or playing around so easily. It's just horrible. It really is horrible.
Speed limit over the bridge needs to be reduced because the cars go flying over there. People overtake because they get frustrated about big pile-ups. People slow down to, oh look, there's the castle, they'll stop on the bridge. There's potentially going to be, there has been a fatality, but there's going to be more.
I think if there was like paths or pavements, anything like that, just less ominous roads, if you know what I mean, for walkers or riders, that would definitely encourage like young people in my age, Connor age, to just go from place to place and get out.
You wanted to see better public or community transport, sustainable options like an electric community minibus or e-bikes, and better foot and cycle paths linking our villages and settlements.
Really, we've only got CityLink now, which is very expensive to travel on. And the first bus in the morning that can get you to Kyle, which is only 5 miles away, it doesn't get there until noon. So you can't have a job in Kyle if you can't get there till noon.
I quite often have to wake my dad up at 6 in the morning to get him to take me to work over a 20-minute drive, which would be, I mean, my dad wouldn't have to wake up if I could get a bus. And just meeting friends as well would be really easier if you could go out and get on the bus and then get back later tonight, you know.
And I remember once having an appointment in Broadford at the hospital there, and I thought, right, I'm going to do it by public transport. And I left here at 9:30 in the morning, and I got home at 5, you know, for an appointment that lasted 10 minutes. And that's pretty shocking, really.
Having more paths for people to walk safely from Ardelph to Nosty, because then there's a path all the way then to Passby at Balmacara.
Yes,
which
that's
would
right.
be great for a
joining
cycle
up communities, yeah.
Yes, because if you're driving along the Blah Moor there, I wouldn't walk, and I certainly wouldn't want to cycle, because the amount of lorries, the tour buses in the summer and the camper vans, you're taking your life in your hands really.
And many people, especially those who are younger, felt that there needs to be improved facilities for sports and for cultural facilities and activities.
Not very much things like to do. There's not as much shops or any places to go.
Well, there's a real focus on like team-based sports in the area. I found there's not a whole lot of like more independent sports, such as like just going for runs or cycling.
I agree with running and cycling. That's a big thing around here, and it can really help people, but there's not much focus on it, and not many people are encouraged to go for a run unless they're serious about playing football, or like they have to be into one thing to get into that, and there's not much solo activity.
I mean, yeah, for things like football and shinty, I mean, you do get some sport to the girls, but as a whole it's more of a like boys-centred thing.
I don't even know if there's girls football outside of school, and the coaching opportunities, the events, there's just not as much as there is for the boys, and it really seems like a heritage sort of thing. It seems like that's just how it's always been, and I think that really needs to change.
It's hard to think of any really good sports fields in the area. This is probably the best one that we have. There are bits and pieces of football fields here, there and everywhere across the villages, but in terms of a proper sporting facility in the area, it's dire need of good facilities.
I would also say that some more support to the local gym and leisure centre would be ideal.
Having access to things like further education classes that perhaps could be during the day rather than at night, because as you get older you don't really want to go out of an evening particularly.
Well, also I think in the local area it would be really nice to see more sort of like just events for people my age to like 18 to 20, little like, I mean it's kind of just the pubs around here, that's the only real place for a night out, but just seeing areas like the Highland Fling is a nice addition to the area, and just sort of more things like that where you can go see local music or like just have a nice dance, something like that. That would be really nice to see as well.
Yeah, definitely.
There's been loads of fantastic suggestions coming through about skate parks, mini golf. I mean, the travelling screen machine is fantastic, but even maybe getting more time of that up here, the facilities to do that. We just need to invest that a wee bit more time into our adolescent youth to make sure that they stay on the right path.
These are your top 10 priorities for the Community Action Plan for Kyle and Lochalsh.
It's not going to change overnight, but if everyone does a little bit to play their part, then we can make a difference.